The U.S. has taken action against Cuba in response to attacks on diplomats there. But neither the U.S. or Cuba appears to know who's behind the attacks. Hardliners stand to benefit the most from the current response, rolling back improved U.S.-Cuba relations. The mystery about health attacks on U.S. diplomats in Cuba has in recent days yielded a fair amount of action, but there are few answers about who is behind them or even how they were carried out. 2 years of improving relations between the erstwhile enemies was roiled in August, when it was reported that U.S. diplomats on the island had suffered unexplained hearing loss with symptoms so severe they had to return to the U.S. The attacks are believed to have started in fall 2016, and continued into the spring. The U.S. raised the issue in February, at which point Cuba said it launched an investigation. The U.S. expelled 2 Cuban diplomats in May. The State Department stressed it was in protest of Cuba's failure to protect U.S. personnel, and not a suggestion of guilt, though Cuba called it an unjustified and baseless decision. By September, the total number of U.S. diplomats affected rose to 21, the most recent case occurring in August. Some had experienced mild traumatic brain injury, with symptoms like severe headaches, brain swelling, and cognitive disruption. The attacks were blamed on sonic weapons, but it's not clear a device exists with the capacity to cause the symptoms reported by U.S. personnel, as well as by some Canadian diplomats. Despite that lack of clarity, the U.S. has responded with what many see as drastic action. Chipsa-Motovilla/Getty Images On September 29, the State Department ordered the departure of non-emergency personnel from the U.S. Embassy in Cuba, amounting to more than half the U.S. diplomatic contingent. And despite no known attacks on private U.S. citizens, the Trump administration issued a travel warning for the island. Days later, the U.S. ordered the expulsion of 15 Cuban diplomats in the U.S., giving them 15 days to leave.